Nephews, welcome home. Gentlemen, if your head knows better, but your heart keeps lying to you, you're in the right room tonight. If you've been replaying text, breakups, mixed signals, if you've been doing the whole what did I do wrong, then nephews, please sit down. If you've been giving more than you're getting and calling it loyalty, then listen closely. This isn't a hype show. This isn't a dating gimmick. This isn't validation therapy. Nephews, this is guidance. We're here for men of all ages. Young men trying to figure it out, grown men rebuilding after divorce, heartbreak, or burnout, and seasoned men who know better, but still need a reminder to stay disciplined. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Confusion is not chemistry. It's a warning. Effort without direction, nephews, that's self-sabotage. Chasing clarity from someone inconsistent, that's going to cost you your self-respect every time. And love without boundaries, that turns into self-betrayal. Look, tonight, we don't shame men for having hearts. We teach men how to lead with their heads without killing their hearts. We talk about dating with standards instead of desperation. We talk about boundaries that protect your peace, emotional discipline when attraction clouds your judgment, and why silence often does more than explanation. We also teach you how to stop auditioning for people who aren't qualified to choose you. Your uncles here, we don't coddle, but we don't harden you either. We speak truth with love because weak advice, nephews, it ruins lives. And unchecked emotions, it ruins men. If you're here to grow, then please stay. If you're here to argue with reality, well, you're not going to like this. But pull up a chair, ask the questions you've been avoiding, and let's get you back into alignment with yourself first. Ask your favorite uncle starts now. My name is William. Johnny, go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody to know.
So I'm Johnny Dumbbell. I'm a personal trainer and life coach out here in beautiful Pittsburgh, PA, where it was actually sunny today. Pens and Steelers both winning yesterday. Get this. I went to the Pens game last night. And because it was going on during Steelers game, I got the ticket for a total of $16 off of StubHub, and that's with fees, okay? So I got the ticket for $16, and at this game, watched our captain, Sidney Crosby, become the Penguins' all-time points leader, passing the magnificent one, Mario Lemieux himself. And so for $16, I got to witness sports history last night. Let's go, Pens. Anyway.
Shout out to Minnie Mom. Glad you're with us tonight, Minnie Mom. Shout out to Noah in the chat. Johnny, you want to jump right into it? Let's get into our first question this evening.
Yeah, the Pens don't need this game. They got game, but we're here to show you the game of life. So we've got a couple of questions. We've got a guy, we got our buddy Howard. Now, Howard is dating a coworker. This is going to be great. I love this. So dating a coworker, he's 32, and I guess she's, 28? I've been seeing my coworker for a couple of months now. We get free concert tickets at work, and we like the same music. So we started to hit it off there. Over time, we got closer. We now text every day, hang out outside of work. We keep it private, and we maintain a professional work life. No one knows, and we don't let it affect our jobs. Our coworkers actually try to set us up constantly. Apparently, they don't know they're dating. All right, cool. Here's where it gets a little tricky. I'm a supervisor. She's a lead. I'm guessing that means that she's a subordinate. I'm not her supervisor, but I work in an adjacent department. I don't conduct her one-on-ones. I don't determine her promotions, any of that. However, we do work closely together. Our departments are codependent on each other, but they're separate. With that being said, neither of us see this as a long-time career. It's a great job, and neither one of us are rushing out the door, but I can speak freely when I say that it's not something I can see myself doing forever. I'm by no means looking to jump ship, but I would be very unhappy if I did this forever. She's going to school for something entirely different, so I know this isn't her long-term plan. My boss saw us walk out together at a Christmas party, and he's concerned. From what I gathered, he said it can't happen and that people need to keep their eyes on us. He announced in an all-team meeting that coworkers are not to date each other. Now, if you've ever been in a meeting and they made a rule, and you know they made the rule about you, you know how you're going to shift in your seat a little bit here. He says, I believe that his biggest concern is if the two departments were to merge, it could become a conflict of interest. But I also think that he just kind of sucks. So what do you think? Has anyone been in a situation like this? Uncle Bill, we've never been in a situation like this, have we? Now, we don't know nothing about it.
Howard, listen to me carefully. Okay. This isn't a romance question. This is a power, perception, and risk question. And right now, nephew,
Exactly why I
you're
chose it.
underestimating all three. Here's the hard truth you don't want to hear. The workplace doesn't care about your intentions, only your exposure. Okay. So you can sit here and tell your favorite uncles, hey, we're professional. Hey, we're in different departments, not long-term careers. No one knows, Unc. None of that matters.
Except the boss.
When optics shift, your boss didn't overreact. He clocked the risk. Why? Well, because let's break this down, nephew. You're a supervisor. Okay. You have a certain responsibility there, and she's a lead. And the departments are what, like codependent or something? Perception beats reality every single time. If things go left, guess who's taking the hit? It's you, not her. And here's the part you need to hear with love, but you got to understand there's no sugarcoating. It's all love here, but sometimes, nephew, is tough love. If she gets uncomfortable later, if the relationship ends poorly, if someone accuses favoritism, if HR gets involved, if someone else starts complaining to that boss there, or like you mentioned, the departments merge, you lose leverage instantly. Now, let's talk about the boss, because that's the big thing here.
Yeah, I'd say that's, yeah.
Does he kind of suck? Maybe. But let me give you the conqueror's code on this. You don't fight authority where you eat. You outgrow it or you leave. Now, option one, look, here's the thing, nephew. One thing we love to do here, because you took the time to write in and ask your favorite uncles your questions, shout out to you. We want to give you the game on how to move forward. That's right. Your favorite uncles want to help dig you out of this hole. So we're going to give you the game on how you need to move forward on this, because you're really in over your head, and I think you're underestimating your whole situation. So your best option is to end the relationship cleanly. And I know that's hard and painful, the mature thing to do, but it protects your career and it protects your reputation. And that's key here, because we move with integrity. Now,
yeah, I mean, it's nice to hear that you're not having any relationship complications specifically with her at the moment. Right now, the biggest obstacle is the boss, who may or may not be sweet on her. And even if he's not, the fact of the matter is you're hiding it from coworkers, which is great because you're trying to keep a professional environment. But if your boss notices, do you think maybe the people trying to set the two of you up maybe are just trying to subtly let you know that they know? Maybe they're just trying to get you to say it. Remember, it sounds to me like you work in a place where people don't do a very good job of minding their own damn business. And if that's the case, and believe me, Bill and I both worked in a call center. As a matter of fact, the same one. And we'll call that call center hypothetically West Corporation, because that's what it was called. Fuck them, they're not around anymore anyway. But those kinds of things are like high school. Those places are like high school with headsets, okay? And so there is going to be some sort of interpersonal social engineering, as they would put it, in those particular environments, although that's not necessarily what they mean. But they're trying to kind of maybe get some information from you. HR does the same thing. These people are just amateur HR people. By offering to set the two of you up, yeah, they're probably some of the more intuitive people in your office, kind of trying to say, hey, we kind of know, but we kind of want you to tell us. So that could be the case. Maybe it's not, but it sounds like it might be. Nevertheless, if the boss knows something's going on, the boss is probably not the only one who knows something is going on. So while you guys may be being very careful to be professional and maintain that professional distance while you're on the clock, and that's great that you do, remember that perception is always far more powerful than most people realize, especially in those kinds of environments. And yeah, if the boss knows, if the boss saw something, the people who work a lot more consistently closely with you probably have been noticing something. So I don't think you guys are being quite as slick as you think you are. But yeah, you're running a pretty major risk. Now, I understand that this is neither of your life's ambition. I understand that you're not going to be doing this job for the rest of your life, and probably not for too much longer anyway. I would still caution you that for as long as you need that to get your bills paid, maybe you kind of, I'm not saying cut off the relationship. It sounds like it's going okay for right now. It's only a couple of months, we'll see. But that's just it. It's only been a couple of months. I'm not saying this girl's crazy. Sounds like you guys are doing okay so far, but it is early. I most of the girls I date that turn out to be crazy didn't show me they're crazy for the first 90 days. All right. They had a time release crazy. I'm not saying she is, but what I am saying is that, like Bill said, so many things can go wrong. So many things can happen, and so many things can make her feel unsafe or feel uncomfortable. And the next thing you know, you're having a meeting with HR over something that may or may not have ever been said or done. Again, these are worst case scenarios, but they're scenarios you have to consider when you voluntarily dip your pen in the company ink pot.
Johnny, shout out to Steve the Dean Williams at the manmindset.com. Everybody wants to be a man till it's time to be one. I'm telling you right now, nephew, your best option here is to end this relationship cleanly right now, immediately. Now, if you're not going to take my advice on that, I get it. Your next best option is to change departments or change jobs. If this woman is that valuable to your life, that essential to your mission, if you're locked in like that with her, yeah, transfer way out of that department, even to another shift, or find another job altogether.
I think whether you end the relationship or not, though, you still go ahead and mention to human resources that this has been a relationship at some point, because here's the thing. Even if you broke up tomorrow, you are still going to want there to be a record that there was a personal relationship there, so that a harassment case, just in case you were able to hide it, comes up, they have some sort of background like, wait a minute, these two were in a relationship. What's going on here? Instead of all of a sudden, here's a scary guy that said or did something and made her feel unsafe. So, again, we're not saying to go ahead and cover your ass, preemptively so that HR can boot her out the door if she decides to complain. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is it should be documented, because you are in a position of authority. You are in a position of, you're considered a higher up here. That is why you need to do what they call covering your assets.
Nephew, I think your boss is already looking for a reason to get rid of you. He doesn't like you as much as you don't like him. I'm willing to bet that feeling's mutual. So I would not do what Uncle Johnny says and own up to it in HR and think that's going to save the situation, because they already have a policy against it. You're basically giving them a reason to fire you and not pay you unemployment.
But he did say that they didn't mention it until afterwards. That's why I say go to HR. They didn't mention the policy until after the boss noticed they were seeing each other. That's when I would say, okay, that's when I would go to HR and say, hey. That's when I would go to say HR and say, hey, they introduced a new policy, so I want to make sure that this is in the clear so that things don't come up later that don't need to be coming up. That's all.
I would say option 3, if you want to do the sucker shit, is continue quietly, knowing that you're accepting the risk. You're probably going to get hauled into HR. You're probably going to get canned. And don't be shocked when consequences hit, nephew. If you are going to continue to see this woman, do not be shocked when that house of cards you're building comes down.
Yeah, this was never a good idea. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and don't blame the boss. You don't get to blame the boss for something you're doing. Don't assume that privacy protects you. It's not. And stop pretending that your intentions override the system that they have in place for dating in the workplace.
Remember last week when I said love doesn't necessarily conquer all? This is kind of one of those things I'm talking about.
Well, I suggest you have a grown man conversation with her right now, tonight. Yeah. You need to clarify your expectations. And then I think both of you need to decide if this is really worth real sacrifice. I mean, if it isn't, step back now, nephew, not later.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a situation where in 2 months, if you're going to go ahead and end the relationship, you're not so far along that this would be devastating to the two of you. But what I think your problem is here too is you've been dating for just 60 days or less, and so you're still in that excited stage, that hyped up stage of the way things are going, and so you're going to be reluctant to let that go. But I'm telling you, they won't be as reluctant to let you go if things go sour. That's the thing you got to worry about when it comes to inter-office dating. Now, like, for example, the gym I work at, they discourage it, but they understand that things like that happen. And they say, hey, look, just make sure we have full disclosure when you think. My thing is this. I've been a personal trainer for, as of last month, 11 years now. Thank you. And, one of the it's hard to believe I got to say, it's hard to believe it's been that long, but it has. But anyway, so there's that. But I mean, in 11 years, I can say I've never dated anybody that I worked with. I can definitely say I never dated a client. And I can say that I've never dated a member. So I don't do that. Those things are all things that have to do with something that's going to be putting money in my account, or not if I screw it up. So the biggest thing that I have to remind myself is that I spent months studying to be what I am. I spent thousands of dollars over the last 11 years, getting my license, renewing my license, keeping things current, and that's to say nothing of the time, the hours, the effort on not only my clients and their development, but on myself, because look, nobody's going to trust a chubby trainer. Not everybody can be Freddie Roach. Okay. Look him up. Seriously. Great boxing trainer. But and that's why I have to make sure that my ducks are in a row, that I'm doing things the way that I'm supposed to do. Like Bill says, how you do one thing is how you do all things. And especially when it comes to the industry that I'm in, that has to do with self-discipline, self-respect, self-control, for the love of God. Not just self-control when it comes to calories and making sure you're hitting your workouts, but self-control in knowing that, yes, that girl in the yoga pants knows the guys are staring at her. Yes, she's going to pretend that it's annoying. Yes, it's going to be something that she's going to. The fact of the matter is, you got business to take care of. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this gym. All right? Right now, you got a date with those dumbbells. If you're one of my clients, right now, you got a workout date with Johnny Dumbbell. You can worry about all the peripheral crap later.
All right, Howard. We need to have a little talk here first. Men don't gamble with their future for convenience. It's some sucker shit even to be dating some woman at work. You did that because it was convenient. You had access to her. It was easy. You didn't have to put effort. You saw her every day in your daily routine. You didn't have to step outside of your comfort zone. So I'm disappointed in you. Something Johnny and I often say on this show is leave women at the job and the gym alone. They're not there to talk to you. So,
but here's the thing, though, Bill. Even if they are, leave them alone.
One could argue your position influenced the attraction, even. Like, would she still be choosing to mess with you if you were not in the position you're in? If you were just entry level, mail room clerk, nephew, if you were a janitor, she's still trying to be on your team. That's really what I want to know. Bruh. I doubt it.
And hey, and if she is, good for her, but yeah.
I'm willing to bet here that she's probably not even that into him, Johnny, and he's going through all of this over some woman who's not even treating him like she should be.
Well, I think his biggest concern is what his boss said to him, not so much what she is or isn't doing. The thing that he's failing to realize, though, I think, is that, like I said earlier, if the boss notices, I'm sure he's not the only one who's noticed. And yeah, I mean, the call center, or I don't want to keep calling it a call center because I don't know that it's a call center, but it really does kind of give a call center vibe the way he's describing it. This is a situation where, he's he's being noticed by the boss, which means he's probably being noticed by other people who see him a lot more often at work. Your boss doesn't spend every minute of every hour with you the way your coworkers might. And so the boss notices at a Christmas party that happens once a year. Please understand, your coworkers probably know it too. You think you're being slick. You think you're being sneaky. You think you're just sneaking her a glance that only she sees. She is not the only one who sees it. All right. It's just not the way. When you're in an environment like that, a boring environment like work, most people probably have a job there that is somewhat repetitive. And even if it isn't, office politics and office gossip seem to be the only excitement that a lot of these folks ever see. Okay. They don't all go to the gym before their office shift begins like I did. They don't all go lift late at night after work like Uncle Bill's had to do before because he didn't have any other time in the day to do it. These are not people who can't wait to get off work so they can go out and do something. These are people who put out all their energy into their work and their office gossip so that by the time they get home, they've only got enough energy to flop down in a chair. And how do I know? Hell, I used to be part of that culture. Just because I didn't screw around in it doesn't mean I wasn't part of it. And I was one of those guys that came home and didn't have any energy left for anybody else. And unfortunately, the wife I had at home wasn't exactly what I would call supportive, so there went that. All we had was what we had at work. And don't fall into that trap. Get a gym membership. Go to the gym. Get up 2 hours before you got to be at work, 2.5 hours before you got to be at work. Get your ass to that gym. Get a good workout. Give yourself plenty of time to treat yourself to a nice hot shower after your workout, or, maybe go to the sauna first and then hit the shower, whatever it is you're going to do. But give yourself a routine, something that you can make your own outside of that place. Because then I can only hope and pray, but I imagine that you probably will be less likely to engage in that toxic kind of culture. You don't need it. You don't need it. You already spend more time. Yeah. You already spend more time with these people than you probably spend with most members of your own family. So keep that in mind and don't give them any more energy than they pay for. All right. My big thing is in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a story about an office romance that either you experienced or witnessed, please tell us your story in the comments. We'd love to read it, break it down for you. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk.
All right, Johnny, moving on. Nephews, If you got questions, you can call in live with them. You can put them in the chat, or you can write Uncle Johnny. The email link is in the bio. Whatever you guys want, we're here to answer your questions.
That's right. For those of you who could write things fast, nochaserjc@gmail.com. Let's go. So, and by the way, before I move on, while I'm on the topic of my clients, I just wanted to give a real big shout out to my client, Marguerite. She got me this for Christmas. This is my Johnny Dumbbell coffee mug. And it says Johnny Dumbbell Space. Got the weight bench and all the weights and stuff like that. I love it. Thank you, Marguerite. I love you. And I will see you tomorrow at 2. Eat your Wheaties. You're not getting out of cardio. You're not getting out of cardio just because you got me a nice mug, but thank you very much. All right, so question 2 from Hudson. Hudson says, I just need advice, and boy, does he ever. So I broke up with my ex almost 3 months ago. We were together for almost 6 months. So this is still under a year, this entire ordeal. Because I've been able to put my mind on other things and focusing on myself while also meeting new people, not necessarily in a romantic way, but because I'm not quite there yet. And that's good. And I'll tell you why shortly. But now that Christmas is approaching, by the way, ho, 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 wherever they are, a lot of my free time activities are closing, and I've been left alone with my seasonal depression and memories of the time that I had with my ex. I get the seasonal depression part. That's understandable. It's chemical. I keep thinking back to the last time I saw her and wonder if I could have done something that day to somehow prevent the breakup, but obviously that isn't a possibility. There are many things that I want to change, but the past is forever engraved into history. Boy, that's dramatic, Hudson. I got to tell you. I just keep looking back to everything we did together and wishing that I could go back to that when I was actually happy and just savor the moment. I want to hug her tighter than I did. I highly recommend you don't. I want to hold her as we lay in her bed. I want to kiss her again, to feel her lips one last time. Just one last time. Hudson, if you're going to write us a love song, write it. All right, but come on, man. He says, I also want other people. The new guys and gals I've met, I want them to just comfort me, and I don't feel like that's right to ask of anyone. Please, God, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm glad you know not to do that. I want someone to hug me and tell me it's going to be okay, to prevent me from committing to that one incredibly stupid and permanent choice that's fueled not only by this stupid breakup, but also everything else that's happening in this screwed up life of mine. I feel alone. The people that I care about, I don't feel that I can burden them with the weight of my feelings. I don't want to bring them down, only to attempt to bring myself back up. I just need advice on what to do. And he does kind of mention, P.S. I'm sorry for low key spiraling at the end there. Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit, but I mean, look, here's the thing. This sounds like it was a pretty emotionally intense 6 months. And I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong. I don't know how you conducted yourself. I'm going to say that if you're in shambles 3 months later, maybe not everything was done correctly from your end. Now, here's the thing that I'm noticing. Now, you mentioned seasonal depression. I too suffer from seasonal depression. For me, it's more of a lack of serotonin because there's just not as much sunshine. We get fewer hours of sunlight in the day, and the hours that we do get, it's usually covered by clouds here in Pittsburgh. So I understand, when you're only getting 8-9 hours of actual daylight per day, it's cold outside even when it is, daylight. You're kind of, some guys, a lot of people get chased inside by the cold. I've had to kind of find joy in that cold. I've had to kind of find a way to still like riding my bike in the cold weather. I found a way to still enjoy going for a run in the cold weather. I've even found ways to just go for a casual walk and maybe make a phone call to my mom or something in the cold weather. Bill makes an interesting point when he says you've got to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is one of the biggest things that's going to help you fight this depression. You are going to have to go outside and get cold a little bit. You're going to have to force yourself to take in whatever ultraviolet rays you can get access to, because it looks like you're from a regional area. And even if you're not, I'm sure that winter, wherever you live, is probably still not as nice as summer. And whatever the case may be, the seasonal depression might have to do with the holidays for you. To a certain degree, it does for me as well. They're tough. They can be a little bit rough. And so what you've got to do is you've got to be able to fight that darkness. You got to be able to put the brakes on when those feelings try to push you into that dark room, if you know what I'm saying. Not only stay away from that dark room, but get to that door that leads you outside. Like I said, whatever time of day or night it is, get comfortable being a little bit cold. Get comfortable breathing that cold air, letting it sting your lungs with how icy the air might be wherever you are. Be okay with being not always okay all the time. Because the minute you can be comfortable in any element and find a joy in any situation, seasonal depression, I'm not going to say it's going to be a thing of the past, but you're going to get to the point that I'm at where it'll start to come on, and instead of being like, oh God, it's winter time, cold and shit. Instead of that, the feeling's going to be up. Okay, here it comes. I know what's happening here. Let's go ahead and fight. Let's go. I already know what to do. We just need to get out and do it, and let's just get this going. So when you can recognize the signs, it's coming, and let's face it, once you've had it year after year, especially at my age, you learn to figure out, okay, here comes the onset. I remember how I fought it last time. We're going to use the same methodology until it fails. So far, me getting outside, despite the discomfort, despite the cold, despite the shit, that has been what's kept me from feeling seasonal depression these days, especially around the holidays. Now, maybe that won't be for you. Maybe it'll be some other activity. But the fact of the matter is that you've got to be able to find joy in the pain of the cold. And once you've done that, once you found your niche, and look, if you want, I'll follow up you through an email, give you a few suggestions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that anyway. But yeah, once you've done that, seasonal depression is not going to be any more to you than a minor annoyance, and you'll be able to swat it away like a fly.
Some solid advice for this young man, John.
Bruh. And again, if you have a hard time doing that, I'm never against going and seeking professional help if that's what you think you need. I don't know what kind of insurance you have. I don't know what your health coverage is like, and I don't want to know. But I mean, I think it's something that if it's something that you simply can't manage to do, there's nothing wrong with seeking professionals. Now, right now, Bill and I are giving you our amateur opinions. We're giving you our amateur opinions because they are what we know to work based on our own experiences. And so, hey, consult that professional if you need to. But if you don't, like I say, get comfortable being uncomfortable and find joy in the results of being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Bruh. All right, nephew, listen closely. What you're experiencing, it isn't weakness. It's grief colliding with isolation. Okay, I'm going to be very clear with you because this matters. You're not broken, but you are vulnerable right now. All right, you're romanticizing the past because the present feels empty. That doesn't mean the relationship was right. That means your nervous system misses that familiarity. And here's the truth that nobody told you. But hey, shout out to you for writing in to ask your favorite uncles. We're here to get you in alignment. So I need you to understand that missing somebody does not mean you should go back to them. I'm telling you this from my own experience, nephew. Okay, you're mourning. You're mourning that routine, the touch, the safety, the shared moments. All right. And who you were before the loss. That's normal. Okay. And we understand. But here's the dangerous lie your mind is whispering to you. If I had done just one thing differently. No. Bruh. No, that's grief trying to negotiate with reality. Now, I'm going to switch tones because this is serious here. Okay, when you say that one incredibly stupid and permanent choice, that's a red alert, nephew. All right, so hear me clearly. You do not solve temporary pain with permanent decisions ever. Your job right now is not to date. It's to stay alive, connected, and regulated. Immediate actions tonight. You got to do these, and I don't want any debates. All right. You got to text or call somebody that you trust, even if it's Uncle Johnny. You are not the burden. Silence is heavier than honesty. All right. And you got to change your physical state. Sometimes, even if it's just cold water on your face, like Johnny, like we talk about, get comfortable being uncomfortable, get used to the cold, do some push-ups in it, go for a walk in it, anything to interrupt that spiral. All right. And then no nostalgia. Go ahead, Johnny.
I was just say, I was just a side note. I was glad you mentioned push-ups. Gentlemen, if you want to take your chest day to the next level, when you're done doing all your chest weightlifting exercises, I want you to take the push-up challenge, the push-up finisher. I want you to do 100 push-ups in as few sets as possible. Give yourself a minute in between sets. But I would like to see that you can do it in, let's say, 6 sets or fewer. I'd really like to see you do it in 4. Anyway, sorry, Bill.
All right, nephew, you don't need a partner right now. What you need is a professional. And you need to get help if these thoughts you're having escalate. That's strength. That's not failure. Now, the season will pass, but you have to stay grounded and centered. And you need to know that you matter. And if you have any other questions, we're here for you, nephew. Take Uncle Johnny's advice on it. He's been through it. That's what we're here for.
Oh, dude. And I still go through it every once in a while. It's just that nowadays I recognize it faster and I already have a plan in place to handle it, and so should you, and you will. But the thing of it is, you won't be able to develop that plan until you finally come to grips with the fact that this is just something that happens every year, maybe a couple of times a year. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a plan in place that gets you feeling better, that takes that depression, and if nothing else, takes the edge off of it. As a matter of fact, chat in the comments, help our brother out here. Tell us about a time that you got depressed, whether it was seasonal or event-oriented, and tell us a little bit about what you did to kind of, on a daily basis, to kind of fight that depression and kind of keep yourself above water. We'd love to see that in the comments, and I think our nephew Hudson really needs a couple suggestions.
All right, Chad, help him out with that. We'd appreciate it.
All right, so We've got question 3, and this one, another one from the UK. This is a place called, and I should have looked this up and I didn't, but it's called Stoke. It's all hyphened. It's called Stoke-on-Trent. If anybody knows where that is, or you can look it up for us, give me an idea where that's at. But he says it's from Stoke-on-Trent. He says, my girlfriend is cheating on me. How would you approach this situation?
Bruh.
Uncle Johnny mentioned finding out about his wife's infidelity years after they had split up. But I have been with my girlfriend, I'm 22 and she's 23, for around 6 months, but talking for around 8 to 9 months. During this time, she's been very affectionate and in love with me, even he puts it in quotes, as I have with her. We've had absolutely no problems other than daft arguments that last an hour max. They're so, I love the British way of being eloquent. I love that. I can always tell. I love it. She has made it clear that she is a very jealous person, asking about my ex relationships and then going into a mood with me when I answer, asking for reassurance that I love her and I'm not going to walk away with, or I'm not going to talk to any other girls. Getting into a mood when another girl even likes my Instagram story. She even got into a mood one night when I was watching your podcast. Well,
Hey,
you know what?
listen,
you know what? I can stop reading there. You don't need that negativity in your life. Get rid of her, or tell her to like and subscribe.
Hey, for real, shout out to Boss Mac, nephew.
And that right there is all you need to know about bitches.
Well, I think in Great Britain they call them chavs. Yeah, I think in the UK they call them chavs, but I'll have to get back to you on that one.
How dare you watch a podcast about self-improvement?
Well, and that, you know what though, that's telling. It depends. To me, it depends on how long she was listening. Because if she listened long enough to know that that's what it's about, and she really is upset with him for watching it, dude. Listen. I'll be completely honest with you, Jeff. You're gonna want to make sure you pay attention to that.
All right, John. Let's finish his question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. So he says the main story is, long story short, I picked her up last night after she was out drinking with a friend. Brought her home, and she fell asleep with her phone open with Snapchat on next to me. Jeff, did she or did you know her code and go into her phone? I mean, I'm just saying, don't shit a shitter, all right? Anyway. Snapchat was up next to me while I was watching TV. Multiple messages came through on her phone. She always has it on silent and the lock screen to show no notifications, but I've never really noticed her hiding it from me. I barely use Snapchat, so I could be wrong, but one of these men she had a 50-day streak talking with. And next to his name, there was a silent notification icon, which doesn't appear next to anyone on my Snapchat. She had sent him a snap an hour before I picked her up, and again in the morning, there were chats between them shortly after we woke up. I'm guessing he wasn't able to see them. I don't know. There was also another person who she informed me last night that she used to date, that she saw in the nightclub and had taken a photo with. He had sent her a message saying, "What did you just delete?" Apparently she deleted a message, I guess. I'm pretty sure that's how, I don't know. I'm assuming he didn't reply quickly enough, so she deleted it to be safe. The third one I saw was another man who sent her an Insta reel saying, "Do girls be telling their friends about our size?" To which she replied every single time and basically every detail, LOL. Amongst these three, I love their grammar. Young men in America, pay attention to the British grammar, okay? He needs a little counseling, but I got to tell you, I have had no problem reading this email. Anyway, amongst these three was multiple other not so bad messages with other men within the past week, most of them flirting with her and her replying, "Aw, thank you." Okay, if they reply, "Aw, thank you," they're not interested. I'm more concerned with the guy she replied more than "Aw, thank you" to. And continuing general conversation. But also other men who she shut down with, "What don't you understand about I have a boyfriend," in the same time frame. Bro, that just means she wasn't attracted to them. The only time you're her boy, it sounds to me like the only time you're her boyfriend is when she's trying to get rid of a guy. Anyway, here's where the insecurity comes in. I've jokingly mentioned countless times that if she's cheating on me or she's got another guy, to sort of joke with her about how untrusting she is with me, and she's never hesitated. She has told me in the past that she replies thanks to people who compliment her To which I told her I'd rather she didn't even do that, but wasn't really a major problem to me. No, that's not the major problem, Jeff. I'm asking on here because I've not really had any time to process it, and I want some unbiased opinions and also advice on how I should approach her about it, etc. With Christmas coming up, it's pretty shitty timing. Should I hold out and try to get some solid evidence? Either way, she's very stubborn, so when I confront her, I can guarantee I'll just be met with okay and no adult conversation. Thanks in advance. Now, Jeff, once again, and I'm not going to say it anymore after this, but I have to applaud you for your grammar. Thank you so much. Guys, sometimes your emails are a mess. Yeah. Well done, Jeff. This is why people make fun of the way Americans talk. Anyway, now here's the only thing you really need to know, my friend. She's constantly asking for reassurance that you're not talking to other girls or you're not finding somebody else attractive. And in the same time frame, she's getting Snapchat messages from guys that she used to bang. Let's just call it what it is. She's getting Snapchat messages from guys she used to practice smash chat with. Okay? This is not, she is displaying all the classic signs, and you like her so much, love her so much even, that you are willing to overlook that because your ego wants to believe that these are just innocent conversations. And look, there's a small chance that maybe they are, but if the conversation was all you had, then I would say to you, okay, well, you still shouldn't be together because either you're too insecure or she's too flirty. But let's combine a couple of factors that you mentioned here. She's got all this going on, and she just misses it when you bring it up. Then she goes and talks about you talking to other girls. Now, in the comments chat, what does it sound like when she's always asking for reassurance of his fidelity and blowing off all of his questions about her potential lack thereof? What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? What do you I mean, this sounds like a classic, and maybe it's not, but let's face it, it's really coming across like a classic case of I'm cheating, so I'm going to accuse you of it to throw you off the scent of what I'm doing. You're going to be so busy trying to reassure me and prove to me that you're being faithful that you'll totally ignore all the things that I'm doing. And even the things you do notice, I'm going to be such a bitch about it that you are going to be afraid to bring the topic up. I'll go into crazy mode if you mention it. That way, because you're a timid kind of guy, mild-mannered kind of guy, my hope is that when I start getting mad, you go, okay, never mind. I was just joking. I just jokingly asked. That's why you said you jokingly asked. You didn't jokingly ask. You timidly asked. You fearfully asked. One, because you don't want to really know the true answer, because I think you already do. And two, because you didn't want to face the wrath of, well, you didn't tell us her name, but you don't want to face the wrath of her. So the point of the matter is that even if she weren't cheating on you, you're still not leading this relationship. You're still not establishing that boundary of, look, if this is what you're doing, go do it. But I do mean go do it. And the thing of it is that you sit there and you say, should I collect more evidence before I confront her? I'm going to tell you shouldn't do either one. Fuck the evidence. Fuck the confrontation. You don't need either one. You don't trust her and she doesn't trust you. Bottom line. What do we say to those people, Bill?
Blessings on your journey.
Yep. Best of luck to you, man. Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where, yeah. Yep. So, I mean, here's the thing. You are spending so much time. You're actually paying more attention to her Snapchat than she's probably paying attention to you. I want you to, I'm going to say that again. You're paying more attention to gathering evidence of her cheating than she is paying attention to you. Number one. Number two, she is doing a classic projection. If she is asking you if you're cheating and you also at the same time have suspicions in your gut that she might be cheating, I'm not going to say I hate to be the one to break it to you. I love to be the one to break it to you. Not because I like to make you suffer, my friend, because I don't. I like to be the one to break it to you because chances are no one else is going to. Chances are your uncles across the pond are the ones that are going to tell you how it is. And here's the thing. Let's even say hypothetically she's not screwing around. Should you still break it off? No. Right? Wrong. You should. The reason you should break it off, though, has nothing to do with her infidelity, especially if there is none. It has everything to do with the fact that the two of you are constantly in this I don't trust you battle. We call that in America toxicity. I'm sure you call it the same. You have got to remember that you are never going to put two negatives together and make a positive, except for in mathematical multiplication. That's it. All right. The fact of the matter is that this is a situation where she is going to continue to accuse you. You are going to continue to prove yourself, all the while quietly being suspicious of her. You ever see Mr. and Mrs. Smith? You guys are like the timid, weaponless version of that. When you do that, you're the boring drama reality show version of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. By the way, if you haven't seen that movie, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, great flick. But yeah, I mean, that's what's happening here. Bill, what happens when two people are in a relationship and they don't trust each other mutually? Like,
All right, Jeff.
get to that point where you're breaking up every 3 months for a week at a time.
Jeff, this one is simple, but nephew, this is gonna hurt. All right. What you described, that's not confusion. It's disrespect dressed as innocence. All right, let's break this down cleanly, shall we? You said hyper jealous of you, needs constant reassurance, male attention elsewhere, Snapchat streaks 50 days long, sexual jokes,
Going out drinking and making you pick her up,
deletes messages, defensive communication style. What are we talking about here? All right, like Johnny said, that's not love, that's projection. And here's the truth that men avoid. People who fear cheating the most are often projecting their own insecurities. So now, this is an important distinction. If she is smashing someone else, you don't know. All right, but here's the part you do know. She is not behaving like a woman in a relationship does. All right, and that's all the evidence that you need right now. Okay, so here's what you do not do, nephew. Do not investigate further. Do not spy.
you don't need it.
Do not gather proof. Do not argue facts. And most importantly, nephew, don't beg for honesty.
Bruh.
Why? Let me tell you something, nephew. Cheaters don't confess. They minimize. All right. Here's how.
So all those things are like a broken pencil. No point.
Here's how you should approach her. All right, let me give you the Conqueror's Code on how to handle yourself, sir. Calm, brief, and controlled. All right. I saw stuff on your phone, crossed my boundaries. I'm not interested in competing with other men. I'm falling back. That's it. No debate, no interrogation, no Christmas guilt, and definitely no help me understand. And I'll tell you,
I mean, to be honest with you,
if she gets defensive, that confirms it. She says, okay, that confirms it. She cries, nephew, that is still not your problem.
by the way,
Love
crying is
without
blackmail.
Respect becomes self-harm. Now, look, let me give you the game on what you need to do immediately. You need to detach emotionally from this woman. You need
Like
to pull
yesterday.
your attention back and prepare to walk like a man. All right. Let her actions reveal the truth. Look, conquerors, bro, we don't chase clarity from chaos. I don't know, Johnny.
We don't even chase our whiskey.
Here's the thing, Johnny. Men, they suffer when they ignore patterns trying to protect feelings.
Mhm.
All right. Strength is not coldness, it's clarity under pressure. And if it costs you your peace, your future, or your dignity, nephews, the price is too high.
Too expensive. Yeah.
Now you got to stay grounded, stay honest, and nephew, stay in your power. And thank you for asking your favorite uncles. I'll give you one more round of applause.
Now, chat, here's how you can help Jeff here. And please spell things correctly. He really made an effort for this. Help Jeff out, though. Give a story about a time that you suspected your partner was cheating, whether you found out you were right or you were wrong. Let's see it in the comments. What did you do when you found the result? Or did you not bother to investigate at all and just decided, screw it, I don't trust this person? We'd really like to hear that story. But put that in the comments. We'd love to read that. And, hey, man, help our brother out. What do you think, chat, he should do in this situation? Now, he doesn't know that she's cheated. She doesn't know that he's cheated. And he probably hasn't. But they don't trust each other. Does he break up with her or does he try to gather more evidence? Now, you already know what we think. But, like I say, in the chat, either tell us that or tell us about a time that you suspected someone of cheating, partner, friend's partner, whatever it happens to be. And how did you deal with the result?
All right, Johnny. And nephews, if you have no other questions, then I want you to hear me clearly before we shut this down tonight. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose well. Every problem we talked about tonight had the same root. Men ignoring their inner authority because emotions got loud. All right, let me leave you with this truth. Confusion is not love. Anxiety is not passion. Jealousy is not loyalty. And effort without boundaries is not virtue. It's self-abandonment. If someone brings peace, they get access. If they bring chaos, they get distance. That's not punishment. That's leadership. Stop negotiating with situations that keep costing you sleep, clarity, and self-respect. Stop romanticizing people who wouldn't protect you the way you protect them. And stop mistaking attachment for destiny. As conquerors, look, you can move slow, think clearly, and act decisively. Don't argue with reality, align with it. Don't beg for honesty, just watch her behavior. And don't chase closure, create it. Now, look, if tonight made you uncomfortable, good. Growth always does. Take one action this week. Now, if you set a boundary, tell a truth, walk away from somebody that's draining you. That's how momentum starts. Stand on business, protect your peace, and remember, your life gets better the moment you stop betraying yourself. We'll see you next time, nephew. Look, we're not going to be here on Thursday for Swipe Smarter. It's Christmas. We're all going to be putting in some family time, and we'll see you next Monday for Ask Your Favorite Uncles. John, you got anything before we wrap this up?
I do. Real quick announcement. So with the new year approaching, now I'm a big stickler for it does not have to be January 1st for you to decide to make this the first day of the rest of your life and make changes. But I know a lot of you do. And so for the month of January, I'm going to be putting a nice introductory rate in. My online business is taking off. So no matter where you are in the world, we can train virtually via video. And I've got new exciting rates that are going to help you get started. And they're going to keep you consistent because they are, remember, used to be that cell phones were only for rich people. Well, personal training used to be too. But now the average person can afford it. And if you can't, we'll discuss it. But get a hold of me. Whether it's nochaserjc@gmail.com or in the comments, say fitness. And actually put Johnny Dumbbell Fitness in the comments. and I will message you or I will get a hold of you, and we'll go ahead and discuss how you want to get things going for 2026. But in the meantime, between time, we won't see you for a whole week. That means we got a holiday and a weekend between now and the next time we see you. So we won't be there to help you or bail you out of jail. So young men, please, no drugs or alcohol. But if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people. Good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.